Take a roofing company with 23 employees and a consistent $2.3 million in annual revenue. It is a stable, reliable operation built on quality work and local referrals. Last March, a storm hit every house within a 5-mile radius of their office. This triggered an immediate spike in demand, generating 47 inbound emergency calls in just 2 hours. During that 2-hour window, the office manager was out sick, the lead coordinator in the field, and the remaining staff were either on lunch or in meetings. For 40 minutes, the phones rang in an empty office. This timeline tracks those 40 minutes. Of the 47 calls that hit the office, 23 went straight to voicemail. Based on a standard average ticket of $2,200, $50,000 in potential revenue walked out the door while that phone rang. Many service companies view missing calls during busy few hours as an unavoidable side effect of doing business, a normal cost of being successful. But these are not anomalies. They are operational failures that can be solved through the way a business is engineered. Most small businesses rely on a monolithic office architecture. The entire operation depends on 1 or 2 individuals to manage the flow of information. In this model, office staff must handle a massive variety of tasks simultaneously. Scheduling, estimates, invoicing, and follow-ups route into the same central point as inbound calls. When volume spikes, like during a storm, this pressure completely overloads the single point of failure. Every emergency repair has a narrow window of urgency. A customer with a leaking roof generally expects a response within 15 minutes. Even for non-urgent work, that window rarely extends past an hour. Once that window closes, the prospect moves down the Google results and then calls the next competitor. Centralized office structures are prone to failure at the exact moments when demand is at its peak. That $50,000 loss is the immediate revenue loss during the storm. However, the calculation changes when we look at the long-term impact on the balance sheet. The true cost is measured by customer lifetime value. Factoring a 3-year cycle of maintenance, future repairs, and referrals, the loss for those 23 calls scales near $80,000. Furthermore, unreachable contractors suffer a severe reputation drag. One blackout caller took a $5,500 gutter project to a competitor for 3 years. That customer only returned years later after clicking on a paid Google ad. The business lost years of recurring revenue and then had to pay to reacquire a customer they already had. The single 40-minute lapse in communication becomes a severe multi-year drain on revenue as lifetime value and trust evaporate. Stopping this leak requires a structural change to how the system processes information. Adding more employees to an existing workflow fails because it addresses capacity without solving the bottleneck. Hiring another admin assistant at $40,000 a year only adds more generalized capacity to a system that is already vulnerable to spikes. The solution is to separate the intake of leads from the rest of the office's responsibilities. We can physically pull the inbound call volume away from the core administrative cluster and route it to an isolated node. This node is managed by a virtual receptionist service that handles phones exclusively. This service operates with one specific goal: answer every single call within 3 rings. Their specific role involves qualifying emergencies, capturing precise contact data, and sending immediate digital alerts. By isolating this task, you ensure that leads are captured, regardless of what is happening in the field or the office. Capturing the data is the first step. The second is ensuring the internal team follows up before the prospect calls the next company. This requires the lead data to flow directly into the company's internal scheduling software. Upon receiving data, a countdown enforces a strict response window while the lead's need remains urgent. As a digital safety net, if the timer hits 0 without contact, the system fires a trigger, sending an unignorable alert to force an immediate internal response. Human memory is unreliable during periods of high demand. A closed-loop system protects the business from internal distractions and busy work. This turns lead generation into a predictable pipeline by removing human error from the start of the process. The results are measurable. 1 month after shifting the architecture, the call capture rate jumped to 94%. By month 2, the company saved 18 leads, generating $40,000 in revenue. Maintaining this costs $1,500 a month, plus a $2,000 setup fee. There is often a psychological barrier to spending money on systems before the return on investment is visible in the bank account. Losing a customer is a quiet process that happens out of sight, but the bill for a system upgrade is a visible, immediate cost. Rejecting a system upgrade when your intake is overloaded is an active decision to turn away revenue. The cost of the protocol is small compared to the $50,000 that can vanish in a single afternoon. The question is whether a business can survive the predictable outcome of operating with visible leaks.
Aiphilia, liberating small business owners.